Hey everyone, welcome back to Making AI Make Sense. I'm here to help you understand how AI actually works so you can use it more effectively. Today we're tackling one of the most frustrating experiences people have with AI, asking it to verify its own answers. You ask a question, get a confident response, and ask, "Are you sure?" And it insists it's right. Then you discover it was completely wrong. This isn't a bug, it's not something that will be fixed in the next update. It's a fundamental limitation on how these systems work. And understanding why this happens will save you from lots of headaches and potentially costly mistakes. Let's dive in. So here's the scenario. You ask AI, "What year was the Eiffel Tower completed?" It confidently tells you 1887. Something feels off about that, so you follow up. "Are you sure? Can you verify that?" And the AI doubles down. "Yes, I'm confident the Eiffel Tower was completed in 1887. Except it wasn't. The Eiffel Tower was completed in 1889. The AI was confidently wrong twice. This happens all the time, and it's not just with historical dates. It happens with calculations, current events, technical specifications, you name it. The AI sounds so certain that we naturally assume it must be checking something behind the scenes, but it's not. Before we get into what's actually happening, let's acknowledge why this experience is so confusing. Your expectations aren't unreasonable, they're based on how human intelligence works. When you ask a human, "Are you sure?" they pause. They reconsider, they go back through their reasoning. Sometimes they catch their mistake and correct themselves. It's a basic feature of human cognition that we naturally assume any intelligence would have. The AI also sounds so confident that we assume it must be accessing some internal knowledge base or verification system. That authoritative tone suggests it's checking something, consulting some source of truth. And honestly, verification seems like a fundamental capability that any system claiming to be intelligent should possess it. If AI can write poetry, generate code, and explain complex topics, surely it can fact check itself, right? These expectations are completely reasonable. The problem is that AI works nothing like how we imagine. And here's what most people picture happening when they ask AI to verify something. First, the AI receives your verification request and recognizes you're asking it to confirm its previous answer. Second, it checks its sources, accessing authoritative databases or knowledge repositories. Third, it compares its original answer against that reliable information. Fourth, if there's a discrepancy, it corrects itself and provides the accurate information. This mental model feels logical. It's how we would verify something. It's how Google works when you search for information. It makes perfect sense, but it's completely wrong. This is not what's happening at all. This reality is far simpler and far more limited. When AI receives your verification request, it sees it as just another prompt to respond to. There's no special verification mode that activates. It then generates a new response using the exact same pattern matching mechanism from its training data, the same patterns that created the original answer. Critically, no external checking occurs. There's no access to databases, no consultation of authoritative sources, no connection to external reality at all. The AI then returns another confident answer, generated the exact same way as before. Notice the circular nature here. The AI uses the same mechanism that created the original answer to verify that answer. It's pattern completion all the way down. When you asked what year was the Eiffel Tower completed, it predicted what words commonly follow that pattern. When you asked, "Are you sure?" it predicted what words commonly follow that pattern. Same mechanisms, same limitations. Here's the fundamental problem. AI can't verify its output because it has no way to check against external reality. It can only generate more text using the same patterns that created the original answer. Think of it this way. The AI lives entirely in a world of text patterns. It has no concept of true or false, only this pattern of words commonly appears together in my training data. When you ask it to verify something, you're essentially asking it to step outside the pattern world and consult reality. But it can't. It's fundamentally disconnected from any external source of truth. There's no Wikipedia lookup happening behind the scenes. No database query, no checking of authoritative sources, just pattern matching. That's all it's ever been doing, and that's all it can do. Here's an analogy to help it make crystal clear sense. Asking AI to verify itself is like asking someone with a faulty calculator to double check their math, using the same faulty calculator. If your calculator has a hardware fault that makes it give wrong answers, pressing the equals button again won't fix it. You'd need a different calculator, one that works correctly. Similarly, if AI's pattern matching generated a wrong answer the first time, asking it to pattern match again won't reveal the error. The patterns haven't changed. The training data hasn't changed. The fundamental mechanism is identical. The faulty calculator keeps calculating wrong. The pattern completion system keeps completing patterns. Neither can escape its own limitations through repetition. And this connects directly to something we covered back in video 3 about hallucinations and confidence. Let me recap why AI certainty is meaningless when it comes to accuracy. AI generates confidence based on how strong the word patterns are in its training data, not on whether the information is actually correct. Pattern strength does not equal truth. If incorrect information appears frequently in training data, the AI will confidently repeat that error. Common mistakes become confident answers. Whether AI says, I'm absolutely certain, or I think maybe, the underlying reliability is identical. The confidence level is essentially decorative. It tells you nothing about accuracy. And asking AI to verify doesn't change this. It just generates more confidence scores using the same flawed method. It's adding more layers of confident wrongness on top of the original confident wrongness. Let's look at a concrete example. Geographic facts are perfect for demonstrating this because they have clear, verifiable, correct answers. Ask AI, what's the capital of Australia? It often answers, Sydney. You ask, can you double check that? It confirms, yes, I'm confident Sydney is the capital of Australia. But that's wrong. The capital of Australia is Canberra. Why did this happen? The AI has a strong training pattern associating Australia with Sydney because Sydney is the largest and most famous Australian city. This pattern appears far more frequently in training data than the correct answer, Canberra. When you ask it to verify it, it used those same patterns, reinforcing the error instead of catching it. Fame doesn't equal capital status, but AI can't distinguish that. It just knows that Australia and Sydney appear together constantly in its training data. Mathematics provides another revealing example. We think of math as objective and verifiable, but AI doesn't actually calculate it. It completes patterns, as we learned way back in video 1. Ask AI what's 789 times 456. It might answer 358,884, but the correct answer is 359,784. You ask it to verify, and it regenerates an answer using patterns. It might return the same wrong answer, or it might generate a different wrong answer, but it's never actually computing. Here's what's happening. AI does pattern completion, not actual math. It predicts what numbers look right together based on training examples. It's looking at the pattern 789 times 456 equals and predicting what numbers commonly complete similar patterns. When you ask it to verify, it's not pulling out a calculator, it's running the same pattern prediction again. This is why sometimes you get different wrong answers when you ask the same math question multiple times. This is pattern completion from video 1, not calculation. Verification would require actual math, something the system fundamentally cannot do. Current events expose this limitation most dramatically. When AI doesn't have information in its training data, it doesn't say, I don't know. Instead, it generates plausible sounding answers from patterns, then confidently verifies its own fabrications. Ask AI about an event that occurred after its training cutoff. What were the key outcomes of the conference last month? It generates plausible details, attendee numbers, announced partnerships, policy changes. You ask, are you certain about that? It confidently confirms, yes, those were the major announcements from the conference. Why did it fail? The AI has no knowledge of recent events, just patterns of how conference announcements are typically described. It's completing the pattern conference outcomes usually include with plausible elements. This is hallucination, which we covered in video 3. Asking for verification just triggers another hallucination using the same patterns. The AI doesn't know it's making things up because it has no concept of making things up versus reporting facts. It only knows generating plausible sounding text patterns. To understand why AI can't verify itself, let's break down what actual verification requires. First, you need access to external authoritative sources, the ability to consult databases, documents, or knowledge repositories that exist outside the system's training data. Second, you need the ability to compare claims against those sources, a mechanism to take a statement and cross reference it with information from external sources. Third, you need logic to identify contradictions, reasoning capability to recognize when your claim and the source of information don't match. Fourth, you need a method to determine which source is correct when you have conflicting information, a framework for evaluating source reliability. Standard AI systems have none of these capabilities. They can't access external sources. They can't compare claims to reality. They have no concept of contradiction or source reliability. They can only generate text from patterns. Each AI response uses the same training data, same patterns, same limitations. Asking twice doesn't give it new information or new capabilities. Your question goes in, pattern matching happens, generated answer comes out. Verification request goes in, pattern matching happens, generated answer comes out. The cycle repeats endlessly, but nothing changes. It's like expecting a different result from photocopying a photocopy. The process itself can't improve the original. This is why regeneration isn't verification. Verification requires introducing something new into the system, external information, different sources, independent checking. Without that new input, you're just running the same process repeatedly and hoping for different results. So now that we understand the problem, let's focus on what actually works. The first and most reliable solution is straightforward. Verify critical information yourself using external sources. Use AI as a starting point, but treat its output as a draft that requires fact checking before you rely on it. For facts and historical dates, check encyclopedias, academic databases, or authoritative websites. Cross reference multiple sources for important information. For calculations, use actual calculators, spreadsheets, or computational tools. Never trust AI for financial calculations or measurements. For current events, search reputable news outlets directly. Check publication dates to ensure information is actually current. For technical information, consult official documentation, manufacturer specifications, or technical standards. Don't rely on AI for procedures or specifications. This is the gold standard. When accuracy matters, verify externally. In video 9, we discussed RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. When implemented with proper citations, RAG provides a verifiable path of truth. Here's the key difference. Traditional AI generates answers from training patterns. RAG retrieves specific passages from real documents and cites them in its response. This transforms AI from a truth arbiter into a finding tool. You're not trusting the AI to verify information. You're using it to locate relevant sources that you can verify yourself. The process works like this. AI searches your document collection, retrieves relevant passages, provides citations showing exactly which documents and pages it's referencing, and then you verify the sources by checking the cited passages yourself. With RAG and citations, the verification responsibility shifts from AI to you. That's exactly what we want. Human judgment applied to verifiable sources rather than blind trust in generated text. Another practical approach involves consulting multiple AI systems and using your judgment to evaluate their responses. This isn't about AI verifying AI, it's about using disagreement as a signal that verification is needed. Ask multiple AI systems the same question, compare their answers, and look for consensus. When answers differ significantly, that's your signal to verify using external authoritative sources. Then you make the final determination using human judgment and external verification. Why this helps? Different AI systems have different training data, which might reveal conflicts. Agreement doesn't guarantee truth, but disagreement definitely signals that verification is warranted. Important limitation here. Multiple AI systems can all confidently agree on incorrect information if that misinformation was common in the training data. This increases your confidence, but doesn't replace actual verification. And not all AI usage requires rigorous verification. Understanding when stakes are low helps you use AI efficiently without unnecessary fact checking overhead. You can generally trust AI output for brainstorming and ideation. When you're generating ideas or exploring possibilities, accuracy isn't the goal. Creative suggestions don't need to be true. For draft writing, you'll edit anyway. AI errors will be caught in your editing process. The draft just needs to be a reasonable starting point. For non critical suggestions like restaurant recommendations or gift ideas, Being roughly right is often sufficient. And for creative work like poetry, story writing, or artistic concepts, factual accuracy isn't required. The goal is creative output, not verified truth. In these scenarios, AI's pattern completion serves you well. The output doesn't need to be justifiable, just useful, inspiring, or entertaining. Some contexts demand rigorous verification because errors have serious consequences. Always verify externally for financial calculations or advice. Investment decisions, tax implications, budget calculations, AI errors here can cost real money. For medical or legal information, health symptoms, treatment options, legal procedures, mistakes can impact your health, safety, or legal standing. When accuracy matters for academic work, professional presentations, or published content, factual errors damage credibility. For current events or recent news, AI often fabricates plausible sounding information about things outside its training data. And for technical specs or procedures, equipment specifications, safety procedures, operational protocols, errors can cause failures or safety issues. The general rule is if you're relying on the information for important decisions, professional work, or situations where being wrong has consequences, verify externally. And this verification limitation isn't an isolated quirk. It's a direct consequence of how AI fundamentally works. Back in video one, we learned that AI generates text by predicting what words commonly follow each other in the training data. Verification would require truth checking, not pattern completion. The system would need to evaluate whether statements match reality, but can only evaluate whether word sequences match training patterns. In video 3, we covered hallucinations and confidence. AI can't detect its own hallucinations because that would require distinguishing between things that match my patterns and things that are actually true. It would need an external reality check, which it doesn't have. And Video 9's RAG solves the verification problem by giving you the sources to verify yourself. Instead of trusting AI's generated text, you can check the cited documents it retrieved from. This transforms AI from an unverifiable oracle into a transparent finding tool. Everything connects. These aren't separate issues, they're all consequences of the same fundamental architecture. And that's why AI can't check itself, even when you ask it to. Understanding this limitation helps you use AI more effectively and avoid costly mistakes. We've now covered 10 critical concepts in this series: pattern completion, context windows, hallucinations, and now verification limitations. Each video is building on the previous ones to give you a complete understanding of how these systems actually work. If you found any of this helpful, subscribe for more practical AI education. No hype, no buzzwords, just clear explanations that can help you use this technology more effectively. If you need help implementing AI verification strategies in your organization, Eau Claire AI provides consultation on building robust AI systems with proper verification workflows, RAG implementation, and quality assurance process. Visit us over at eauclaireai.com. And thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.